Well, hello and welcome to episode 3 of Beyond the Blackboard. In this episode, we'll delve into the real estate industry and most importantly, into the home buyers issues. I'm your host Sunil, and my guest today is a home buyers activist. He's been actively taking up home buyers issues with statutory authorities, and he's also the founder of Karnataka Home Buyers Forum, Mr. Dhananjay Padmanabhachar. Mr. Dhananjay, thank you so much for
Hey, hi Sunil. Good evening. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. There's so many things we have to discuss, Dhananjay, I want to ask you. But first, I want to tell you that this podcast will be divided into three segments. The
Okay.
first segment will be called Learning Curve,
Okay.
where we'll go through this learning process of all what are the different issues and stuff like that, what are the legal framework and stuff like that. Second segment we'll call Spotlight, where I'll put you in the
Mm-hmm.
spotlight. We'll discuss some contentious issues.
Sure.
And then the third segment is called Future Cast. So we'll look into the future. We'll look at
Sure.
uh, uh, what is the shining light, what are the drawbacks and such things. So let's begin with the first segment, learning curve. So, Mr. Taneja, you've been very active and you've been vociferous in taking up these issues. I mean, I follow you on X. I see all your posts on X. You have you take so many issues up with the mostly with the government statutory authorities. First, I want to just talk a little bit about your journey. So, what is it about these issues that got you
Sure.
into uh,
Yeah.
these?
Sunil, I think thanks a lot for bringing this important issue of the apartment in Bangalore, especially in Karnataka. I think especially in real estate, I will tell you that there are two segments of real estate that works in the industry, right? One is plot development and another is apartment development. These are the two important real estate segments where people invest their money, hard-earned money of their lifetime, so that they can have a peaceful home that they want to live. Right? Though this is exactly where the segment is all about. So I will not consider, some of the people who consider real estate as an investment alone, but it is an investment. Plus, there is a emotions associated with the home. Okay, so when we are talking about real estate, we are talking about emotions. Okay, that's important. So I purchased my first property when I was at the age of 25. Okay, today I am at the age of 45. It's been more than almost close to 20 years. Okay, and even after purchasing a property in JP Nagar, I don't own the land. Can you believe this? So this is a system we are living in. Okay, and when we are a youngster, right, at the age of 25, frankly speaking, I was not aware of all the laws, the regulations that exist in real estate. One of the important aspect what I wanted to purchase a house is I want to get married.
Okay.
Before get married, my mother told, okay, purchase a house. Okay, so when I inquired, the plots in that area was very costly, was not affordable during that time, and I said, okay, let's go with an apartment in JP Nagar, which has got a decent size and have a house to live, right? So that's how my journey of investing in an apartment, we call it as a sweet home, has started. The initial few days was fantastic. We have been registered under Karnataka Societies Registration Act, and we are running the shows and going on. Maintenance collection was going on, and then we enjoyed a lot of cultural
Okay.
celebrations, etc., etc. The real journey of real estate, the other side of the real estate, started when I booked an apartment in a project called Mantri Serenity. Okay, when I booked, because the property that I had was a two-bedroom flat, and I wanted to have, because my family expanded, I wanted to have a three-bedroom flat. During that time, also, when I explored, a plot was not affordable because as the time goes, the rates also has gone up.
Yeah.
So during that time, I booked an apartment called Mantri Serenity in Kanakpura Road. Okay, in the year 2013. I waited as per the agreement in 2016. I was supposed to get my flat, right? But even after 2020, we didn't get our flats. So that is when the journey of a real estate, the other side of real estate, started exploring. And I started understanding why there is a delay of so many years, why builders are unable to do it, right? There are a lot of issues in the real estate. Approvals is a issue. And then monetary encashment or loans disbursement, a lot of issues come into picture, right? But in the year 2020, we understood what exactly is a real estate is all about. Okay, and we filed the FIR against the promoters who not delivered the house, and 18 people have registered a case, and then we fought against the builder, and we ensure that the builder doesn't fly out of the country, and we seize his passport through our networking and through help of our Tejasvi Surya, who's an MP. And a lot of work has happened, and during that time COVID also hit. Okay, and COVID has hit real estate very hard. And when the COVID was hit, during that time, Government of India has introduced a new concept of Swami Fund. So to help the builders and promoters and home buyers to come out of the situation where the project is stuck for a very long time. So luckily, our project got into selection into this Swami Fund, and we got a funding from the central government. So because of that, the project could able to complete in terms of building. Okay, but the builder still has not given the house, right? So there are a lot of litigations started coming in, started looking into issues and etc. And one thing what I realized as a victim was the promoter has not mentioned the undivided share of interest in a property in the sale deed. Okay, this is one of the important factor which I couldn't able to understand what is the importance of this undivided share in the property when I was booked the flat when it was a pre-launch. But later when I started exploring importance of undivided share, why it is important, and when the project go for a redevelopment, why it becomes very important and critical for home buyers, right? And why association registration is important. Then started exploring. So when the builder has not started giving undivided share, then we try to understand what is the all is about undivided share, what the other states are doing, Maharashtra or Odisha or any other state in the country, what they are doing, etc. Right? Then we understood a very important correlation relationship between undivided share of interest and apartment association registration. Both are linked to each other. These are the two important issues which we are trying to address through Karnataka Home Buyers Forum so that association registration can happen under the government and land transfer can happen to registered association as per section 17 of RERA. So these are the two important issues we are trying to solve, and in between there are a lot of other issues that came up with respect to registration, with respect to EWS scam that was going on, and there is a lot of issues with respect to Khata scam that is all of are linked issues, but the main problem statement is association registration under the competent authority and common area transfer to association authorities as per section 17 of RERA. These are the two challenges we are trying to find a solution through Karnataka Home Buyers Forum with the experience of more than 400 plus activists who are part of the Karnataka Home Buyers Forum, with this knowledge sharing happening across multi projects and the problem faced by them and what is the solution that activists are facing. With this, I think we are learning a lot, and we are trying to implement at a policy level and to make sure that we give back to society along with following a problem for ourselves. This is the journey, Sunil, I wanted to highlight. And some people, get frustrated with whenever they get into these hurdles and problems. But we as an activist, we have a bigger role to play because our problems is not just our problem, it is a society problem. That is the way we look at problem and find this as an opportunity to solve a problem so that society gets benefit.
Thank you so much, Dhananjay, for that. So, the turning point in your case was that where you bought a flat and then it was not delivered, and then
Yes,
you got into that process of taking up the issues against the builder, and you said you got the FIR registered
yes,
against that build against the.
exactly, exactly.
So, yeah, so there are all these different acts which are going on, and
Correct.
sometimes it is confusing. It can be confusing to a lot of people. And there is
Absolutely.
the Society Registration Act, there is this Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, then there is Karnataka Ownership Flats Act, then there is RERA, right? So could you throw some light into these acts? I mean,
Sure,
what is the right thing to do?
sure,
That's what
definitely,
owners
definitely. Let me start with
because
the first very important act, which is Karnataka Societies Registration Act 1960. I'm
okay,
taking as per the years because that is the first act which was known to public. And Karnataka Societies Registration Act 1960 has been formulated by the government with an intention of making an association of persons. We call them as AOP to come together and come under the government Sakshama Pradhikara for driving NGOs or any activity which is charitable in nature. That is the purpose of Karnataka Societies Registration Act. So when the act came into picture, and during 1960, the not much apartment was into picture. There was site association. There a lot of development was going on with respect to sites is concerned. They were either registering as a welfare association, or some people used to register under Karnataka Cooperative Societies Act. I think you forgot to mention about that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. The Kannada
yeah.
Cooperative Society. Yeah, that
Karnataka
is also.
Cooperative Societies Act. That was 1959 Act, and then that was introduced to unite farmers and dairy sellers, right? Those who submit milk to dairies, right? Those are the areas that usually Cooperative Society Act was initially being used. But there are sites. Developers also used to form cooperative society to gain the benefit of the Cooperative Society Act, and then make a site and sell it, right? That is also possible. So the people used to use it. And then some of the site allottees associations also used to use cooperative society to run the show, right, for maintenance collection during that time. So in 1972, what happened is government of Karnataka, when the apartment was becoming popular during that time, they introduced two important acts. One is Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 1972 and Karnataka Ownership Flats Act 1972. You need to understand there are only
Okay,
few
okay.
wordings here and there. One is Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 1970, which popularly known as KAOA 1972.
Yeah, that's what
Other
I.
one is Karnataka Ownership Flat Act 1972, which is KOFA 1972. So these are the two important acts formulated almost at the same time, but with a different purpose. AOA 1972 has been formed so that the apartment can be transferable and heritable. Meaning, see, any property which is been sitting on a land, right, it need to be transferred and heritable, because your third floor and fourth floor is not directly linked to the ground. That intention, KOA 1972 has been formulated, and there are set of guidelines has been put across to register a DOD, and then attach a certified copy or a true copy of a bylaw, etc. A lot of regulations has been put across into KO in 1972, and COFA has been seen as a regulatory act, meaning that if I want to manage a society, you can follow a COFA. What COFA says? COFA section 10, which clearly says you have to form an association under Karnataka Cooperative Societies Act. The COFA links to Cooperative Societies Act. Okay. So if anything comes under COFA, which is a management act, they say you have to register under Cooperative Societies Act 1959 and transfer the common area to a cooperative society as per section 11 of COFA 1972. You want to say something, Sunil?
Yeah, so KOA basically, without KOA, builders would not have been able to sell apartment to
It is not
people.
possible. That is the reason
Yeah,
why they introduced KO intensity to make the property transferable, heritable. If you look at the definition of KO itself, it is clearly written. What is the purpose of this act? But what happened during 1972? The number of apartments were very less. Only you can see in Bangalore, 2-3
yeah,
apartments
yeah.
were there, right? And then the usually mentality of Karnataka people residents are take a plot and then build a house, right? But 1991 onwards, especially when the global economy opened up, the gate flood has opened to Karnataka, and too many people started coming into Karnataka and especially Bangalore. And Bangalore has become a hub of IT professionals, business professionals, etc. Right? When the lot of people started coming in, there is a scarcity of the land. So what happened is vertical development started becoming popular. So the all these acts were become adopted, etc., but the most of the apartment associations were registered even today under KSRA 1960 only, because it has been percolated by builders and landowners saying that KSRA is an act to run the show, which is a welfare association. Even today, if you look at 70% of the act of the apartment association are still running under KSRA 1960. Even though you have KOA and KCSA acts, but still they are continue to run under KSI. But the fundamental difference between KSRA and KOA, and there are some High Court restrictions imposed on association which is registered under KSRA 1960. I will take up one by one. I think in 1918 or 9, I think somewhere around 2018 or 19, High Court of Karnataka gave a clear direction stating that KSRA 1960 cannot be used for collection of maintenance for apartments. It is meant for NGO purposes. You cannot run a apartment association under this act. But how many apartment associations respected the High Court orders? Not many. Until unless anybody
many.
files a case in the court of law, it will be quashed. But how many people have gone to the court? Not many have gone to the court. And like that, when it was quashed, there are a lot of well-known developers and builders. They started, promoting KO in 1972, and then started registering the association under 1972, not following a proper procedure. What do you mean by not following proper procedure is, in the KOA Act, it clearly states you have to annex. Please remember, it is mentioned you have to annex the true copy of a bylaw. What do you mean by a true copy? You have a bylaw registered, you certify it with a notary or any competent authority, and that is called a true copy of a bylaw. That is supposed to be annexed to a DOD. But majority of them could not able to do that because of one issue that we see is that competent authority was not declared by the government for the Act of 1972. So Government of Karnataka made Register of Cooperative Society as a competent authority for COFA 1972, but they did not make competent authority for KA 1972 for a variety of reasons. We don't know what is the reason. But if you look at follow a proper procedure of COFA 1972, Section 10 of COFA says you have to register an association under KCSA 1972, and KOA, you have to come back to KOA 1972 where it says annex a true copy of a bylaw. So if you have registered by following COFA, you would have got a true copy of the bylaw and attached to a DOD, and your association would have completed following KOA and COFA both together. You have to look at KOA and COFA together, not as isolated. But what happened in the court of law is, for variety of reason, whoever is submitted before the honorable court, there are multiple orders passed by the court. Whatever may be the orders, we have to respect the High Court orders. As per that, in one of the cases, which is very popularly known, stating that if association is a residential in nature, then KAO is applicable. This is the order of the High Court. If the apartment has got residential plus commercial unit, then COFA is applicable. So whether it is right or wrong, I think we need to respect High Court of Karnataka, and we have to take it as is, because it's been referred in multiple
But
cases.
in your opinion, what is it? Is that judgment
No,
correct?
Sunil, I
Not
think
correct in
what
your
we need to
opinion. I'm not trying
understand is
to.
that, individual opinions may vary, right? But when High Court says, we need to respect it. Very simple. In Indian Constitution, it is very clearly defined. High Court orders are the finals. Okay.
No, there are a
And
lot of
within the
people who
limitation of
feel that
within
the
the
High Court
limitation of the
orders
state,
may not be correct. Then they go and appeal to the
they
Supreme
go to
Court
the
and all those.
higher authority. But
Yeah.
we cannot when some High Court says this one, if somebody has an objection, they have to go to the Supreme Court to file an objection, and they have to
That's
appeal
okay, but you
against
can have
it.
an opinion on the judgment, whether it is whether that
See, I will
judgment
tell
is
you,
actually
if you ask me, if you look at KOA Act or COFA Act, nowhere it is mentioned saying that residential or commercial, there is no differentiation. Okay. Why there is a differentiation we drawn by the court, I think it's not a question to be debatable. We have to
okay.
accept as is. That is where the confusion started among the public, saying that Act is saying, some people are promoting Cooperative Society Act. Some people saying, you have to register under KCS Act. And I think very recently there is Akhilesh Anand versus State of Karnataka. The order came a couple of months back, clearly explained where RERA is applicable, where KO is applicable, where COFA is applicable, and where there is a conflict of interest, and where problem can be find a solution, right? And in that order, they try to find a solution to this long issue that we are seeing. Okay,
This is a High
as
Court order.
per, yeah, it's Akhilesh Anand versus State of Karnataka. I think it's I don't remember the exact writ petition. I can tell you later, but you
But
can
this
search
is
it out.
like the order which
This
we
is
were.
order of the High Court of Karnataka, where few people have filed. I think it's a commune apartment, I think something like that. where the people have gone to High Court for clarification in terms of which is the right act to register, what is the fundamental difference between KOA, COFA, and what is the difference between KCSA and RERA. Is there any overlap between COFA and RERA? And which act comes into picture where, right? So there are a lot of difference. Judgment has been considered, and then final opinion has been passed in this particular case, while keeping all previous judgments. As per that, if an apartment is only allottees are there, not sale deed holders, where the apartment is not registered, there it is RERA is applicable, and you can form an association of allottees under Cooperative Societies Act. If there is a commercial plus residential unit, there also they identified the difference. Association of allottees registration. Whereas once the sale deed is registered, then it KOA comes into picture. This is the order of the High Court. Okay. So in this process, what is happening is where the problem starts is for KOA 1972, the court is saying, Register of Cooperative Society is a competent authority, and if there are any problems, go to the competent authority and register association before the competent authority. There are multiple orders in multiple cases. But the challenge is who is a competent authority. As per the Act, it is Register of Cooperative Society. As per High Court order, it is Register of Cooperative Society. But if you take your matter to the Register of Cooperative Society, you will not attend your case.
He'll probably say
The
we have
reason
not been
is
given the authority.
we have been given the authority by the government. That means that somebody says you are the competent authority, but government does not give me offer letter saying that, boss, you are supposed to do this job. The offer letter has not been issued. There is no Rajya Patra which says for KOA 1972, Mr. X department is a competent authority. That order has not been issued. This is the problem. And even for running an election, High Court said the authority should appoint election commission officer by the competent authority. There is an High Court order. But if you go and appeal before the competent authority, will say, I was not given offer to run the show. You are asking me to appoint election commissioner. That is not possible, right? So the fundamental problem lies in the state is where government failed to release one simple Rajya Patra, we call it as a government order, to declare a competent authority, which is Register of Cooperative Society, as a competent authority for running KOA 1972. This is the loss, this is a flaws in the system. But unfortunately, many people who gone to the court of law has not brought this fact before the Honorable Court. People who got the order, they should tell to the court saying that, my lord, you are saying that you have to register under cooperative under KOA 1972. If there are an issue, I need to go to the competent authority. A election need to happen under the guidance of the competent authority. But Mr. Competent Authority is not honoring the High Court orders and not respecting it. Nobody has tell this to the Honorable High Court. So what I have done is, I have filed a writ petition in the Court of Law, where I got a letter from the government stating that Karnataka government is in the process of throwing away KOA and COFA both together and coming with a new apartment act. But there is no timelines. So I went to the Honorable High Court saying that the government is saying like this, can you please give directions? And until such time, when the new apartment comes into picture, let the competent authority continue its operations.
Okay.
This is the prayer that I put across in the High Court in writ petition 202 of 2025, and an order is passed by the High Court in January 27 saying that please take a note of the submissions and respond to this writ petition is the order of the court. But till today, it's almost like January to this November, almost 10 months is over. Till now, government has not responded to the High Court only. Till now.
Then you should ask the court to take a contempt of court case against the government. Because
I have filed 4 memos. I filed 4 memos in the High Court of Karnataka. Give me date. But we get a date, but my case was not heard. So 4 or 5 times I tried it. Then I stopped going to the court. Let the government do whenever they want to do it, right? But I understand that government is working on, because I follow with the government very closely, and I get a IPGR's request response, and then RTI responses saying that they are in a process of formulating a new apartment act. But the question is when. And even a lot of media also published when they check with the political parties and then the deputy chief minister and etc. They are also saying that yes, we are in a process. I think, by the way, there is already debate happened in the Legislative Assembly. They are in a process of formally a new Apartment Act. But the question is when? How long we need to wait? This is a question that is before the government, and they need to answer on this. And there is a political pressure, there is a people pressure, there is a High Court order also. How long High Court of Karnataka can wait for the government to submit a response? So I am
Maybe
going to
you
take it up at a legal level at at appropriate time. It's not that we have to ignore this. When High Court says something, I think everybody need to respect. As a public, I need to respect. As a government elected representative, they also need to respect. There is a time that any court will give some timeline for them to act. But if they don't act it, I think they will take a cognizable actions at appropriate time. So since there is some movement happening at the government, I also kept silent, not gone to the court. But appropriate time, we will definitely reopen and then ask these questions to the government and also to the court to give suitable directions.
I mean, this
But
is in fact
because
a
of this
contempt of
confusion,
court,
sorry.
actually. It is in fact a contempt of court, actually, in your case. Government is not even giving response to the court. That shows that how much they are actually respecting the High Court. They are even failing
Definitely,
to give.
we need to take appropriate step, after discussing with our legal advisor. But right now, we are keeping silent. The reason is we are seeing some progress. At least, from the government side, they're making some statements. We met the chief secretary also saying that release the act at the earliest. We have given memorandum to the chief minister also. I think it's important that 52 years old act when they're trying to replace. I think we need to give sufficient time for them for reviews and whatever may be the case. I think we're hoping that January, February during the assembly season, I think this act should be on record, should come onto the public.
So next year, maybe. That's what you.
Yeah, probably next year. That's our expectations, because first statement made by the deputy chief minister in the year January 2024 that they are in the process of creating an act. I think we have given enough time. 24 and 25, 2 years of time for the government to think and formulate the act and take all the relevant required actions from the government side to ensure that the act is released. I think 25 seems to be a reasonable time frame for us to proceed further if the government is not taking any actions. We are going to take all the steps as per the legal provisions, and also we are in discussion with the opposition party also to make it as a political issue as well. And also a lot of publics are angry and they are also thinking about protesting on roads, for their protesting in the appropriate places to ask their rights. A lot of people are angry, and since I am in touch with a lot of apartment associations, they're very angry because of inefficient functioning of the apartment associations, and there is no competent authority where they can file complaints. Right? People are angry. I think government, if they are watching this video after you publish, I think they need to understand to respect the people's emotions, and it is their commitment. And the current government also made a commitment in their election manifesto, also saying that they will bring a new act to solve this problem. So they need to respect their own commitment. So public commitment is one, and I think election commitment is one. So we are going to make the government accountable in all possible ways.
So you have represented these issues number of times with the government, and in your this one, what is a simple solution to this association impasse? I mean,
See, I
it
will tell
shouldn't be
you.
that complicated for people like you and me. I mean, who wants to go in depth in the law, and unless I want to become an advocate? And
Definitely, definitely. I think what people need to
there should be a
understand.
simple, practical solution that everybody can just approach the government, do the
Exactly.
proper papers. They'll give you the registration certificate, and that's it. I mean, everything is. Why I need to study the act so much, go into depth, trying to explain. I mean, this is becoming too much of a bottleneck.
No, I think the confusion has been created for a reason. There are a lot of stakeholders involved, a lot of public also involved. I will tell you, it's not just a government problem. It's not just judiciary issues. It's also public, because we don't go to the government, we don't go to the court of law with the problem statement very clearly. I will give you an example. Right? There are a lot of people who file PILs. There are a lot of people who file their cases. None of them have brought this issue to the court of law, saying that government is in a process of creating a new act and please give a suitable time. If a lot of people who gone to the court, if number of cases increases in the court of law, automatically court also will make a note of it, right? It's not just one Dhananjay or one Sunil who is need to fight. It's everybody's property. You can't imagine, Sunil, there are more than 30 lakh people, home buyers are living in Bangalore and around Bangalore. And if 30 lakh people are there, complaints are only in hundreds. In RERA, at least there are 100 cases. In High Court, maybe around 25, 30 cases on apartment association, etc. Right? Why? Why are we not fighting for our rights? This
Yeah,
is where the
that's
problem comes into
more.
picture.
But also, I think what government has to do when you are saying this new act is coming up, they have to frame rules to set up quasi-judicial authority. I mean,
Definitely, definitely,
people cannot
definitely.
go to court for every. For example, if somebody is not paying maintenance,
Correct,
for example, I'm talking about a simple issue.
correct.
I, as a committee member, for example, if I should just go file a
Go to the
complaint with that
competent
quasi,
authority, get it recovered. Yes.
and he can file recovery. This one, it should be. Why should I be forced to go to
Court,
court?
court, court
Depend
should
on.
always be the last resort, Sunil. So when you have a competent authority should resolve the issues, and court should always be the last resort. Court should not be the first resort. But I will tell you one more, another aspects to it, right? So it is not just a maintenance. There is a huge corruption involved in the apartment associations. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll just give
yeah.
an example of one of the apartment
I mean, they don't
where
maintain proper accounts.
the maintenance of the accounts is not there. I can give you one example. For getting a fire CC, the association pays 7 lakh rupees. Okay. And on book of record, they show 14 lakh rupees. 100% corruption. So when we want to file a case, you have to go to the court of law. And civil court, you know how long it will take. And getting a justice in civil court is a nightmare. So that is why people are scared and corruption increases. But if you have a competent authority, there is a body sitting above the managing committee where public or flat owners have a right to just reach out to the competent authority. Simple complaint in a natural language. The notice should be issued to the association committee and ask for justification and solve the problem. You have a easy complaint redressal mechanism based on a natural justice system. If this brings into the table, then automatically system will be corrected. Somebody who is not paying a maintenance is also will be addressed. Somebody who is eating money in the name of association will also be caught. There is always a binding on both the parties between association and flat owners so that there is a healthy relationship because there is a body above you. This is exactly what as a common man wants in the constitution. Have a competent authority and appellate authority. If required, you want to go for an appeal, which is also under the government. And if not solved between competent authority and appellate, then always go to High Court. But spending time in civil courts is a waste of time for public because of the nature where we don't get justice even after multiple years. So that is where competent authority and appellate authority is going to play a very important role, where it has got a time-bound disposal of the complaints, and High Court can intervene if is not solved within the appellate authority. This is what we have recommended to the government also, have a competent authority in the new act and appellate authority in the new act. And then if not, then go to the High Court. No civil court up to the district court should be involved in this act. Direct competent authority, appellate authority, followed by High Court and Supreme Court. 4 layers of justice.
There's one more thing. If you have looked at the COPA section 10 that you are mentioning, it also mentions about a company.
Correct. Either cooperative
So
society or a
why
company.
that option people are not exploring? You can
See,
form under the
definitely
Companies Act.
Company Act is a very beautiful act, but the problem comes in if the number of owners increases by 200,
Oh,
right?
okay. That's a
Then
section.
Company Acts cannot be applicable because you have to make it a public limited company, right? You can't be a private limited company. And you can't make under Section 8 of Companies Act because that becomes an NGO. So there are some limitations. If it is within the limitation of 200, then it is possible. If it is above 200, not possible because you have to make it to a public limited company. So there are some limitations around it. That is why it is important to have a specific act for apartment defined by the government, having a competent authority to address the complaints.
That is the major solution.
Yeah, that is
a
a major
simple,
thing that we
and
are
the solution
expecting
should
from the
be
government.
simple. They should not make
It should be
buyers run
simple.
around here
Yes,
and there and complicate their lives. Simple. Go to the authority,
exactly.
submit the application to register, give the association registration
You
certificate.
have a
Okay, pay
competent
some fees,
authority should
little bit
competent
of fees.
authority should have model bylaws, right? And then everybody should follow the model bylaws, and define who are the executive committee members, and election should happen based on the whether you want to conduct internally. I think it is better to conduct under the competent authority, because unbiased election should happen, right? So if you have a competent authority, lot of things can be done. See, and also it's an expansion for the government. See, as a government also, we need to look expansion of our departments, right? Educated body, because
When
when you have
more
a
and more
30,000.
people come and give, more and more give applications, then you also expand that particular
Yeah,
department. Then they will also hire more people.
definitely. It's an
They will
opportunity
also.
for the growth. People get employment, people get jobs. Government should look into these aspects to generate jobs through competent authority. Office need to be set up. And apartments not only in Bangalore, you have in Tumkur, you have in Belgaum, every district may have one office. So like this, you have to look from expansion point of view when the population expands. You can't just run behind courts all the time. This is the mindset our politicians need to understand. When population is expanding, automatically the government department also need to expand accordingly, and these are the opportunities for the government also to make an impact.
Two main issues that I am particularly. One is association registration should be very simple, straightforward.
Yes.
Accountability should be
Yes.
brought to the office bearers.
Office bearers, yes, and also flat owners, not only office
Yeah,
bearers but also flat owners.
yeah. Because I have in my apartment, I have fought over very very simple issues, sir. Accountability. I have asked for office bearers to produce bank statement. What is the harm in doing that? Association bank statement you give along with many fights have happened because of this one simple issue. They are not producing bank statement.
And that is where, Sunil, I think I was talking about accountability. You mentioned about accountability, right? That is where corruption comes to if somebody is honest, right? What is the problem in sharing the account statement? Somebody is dishonest, somebody is doing disappropriation of funds, misappropriation of fund, diversion of funds, then only they worry about sharing the account statements. Otherwise, you pay maintenance, everybody pay maintenance. That's a common pool of account statements. In earlier days, Sunil, I will tell you 10 years back, when I was a secretary in in our apartment, we used to keep bank account statement in the association office.
So
Expense
come and
statement.
take. What is the
Anybody
point?
can
What
come
is
and check and inspect. And
no, no, it is
expense
not question
statement.
of inspecting. What is the harm in sharing a soft copy with the people?
Exactly. Soft copy. I'm talking about 10, 15 years back where digitalization was not popular, and we
Yeah,
used to take a printout and we used to keep it in our system. Now everything is available through mobile click, right? See, when somebody is dishonest, that is where all these problems are started. That is where in 10 years before, or 15 years before, Sunil, this corruption was at a very controlled level. But today, corruption is at a doorstep. Somebody who's go to Xerox shop in the name of association, if they make 500 rupee Xerox, they will take a bill of 1,000 rupees.
yeah.
This is the level of corruption that is happening in the apartment associations.
Not just you mentioned they give inflated bills. I
In
mean,
they
this is
give inflated bills. One of the
what
Xerox
they
guy
do
told me
is
about this.
simple, and it's very difficult to catch it also. What they will do is they will go to the vendor
Yeah,
and they will make one deal with the vendor.
correct,
They'll say you give this bill of this amount,
correct. Some
okay,
amount kickback
and
will be there.
if apartment people ask, we'll show the bill.
Correct.
Then obviously people will believe, but the side dealing, we will transfer something to you, 20,000, you give back some amount. This kind of dealings happen a lot. Water tanker, one thing, they will come and tell the apartment one thing. They will do side dealings with the water tanker for one rate. They'll
Exactly,
come and
right?
tell
So
the.
the lot of whenever there is a corruption involved and kickbacks are involved, this is where the transparency is losing. In last 10, 15 years, we are seeing the society has changed. Now, earlier we used to say that corruption happens in the government. But I can tell you corruption happens in the private sector, and apartment association is much, much higher than in the government.
Yeah.
I told you about 7 lakh rupee was spent by one of the popular famous apartment in South Bangalore, and they show us 14 lakhs. I filed a case against the fire department and associated with the apartment also, saying that why there is a difference. Where did the 7 lakh go? But till today, we have not got a order from the Lokaयुcta on this case yet. So systematically, there are a lot of issues in the corruption segment, Sunil. People need to take it further. But if the competent authority is there, then it reduces. I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
say that it will completely get away, because people will find some alternative. But at least there is a, tere upar ek baap hai bhaiya. This is what I say, right? There is somebody above you who can take note of what you're doing, which is missing today. That is where we need a competent authority, a proper apartment act to drive it. This is one important. And another important aspect why apartment association registration is required is with respect to land khata.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
an
explain
important.
you. I talked about association in last 30-40 minutes. Now I will explain you what is land khata. So very important aspects that many people don't understand. Khata is a mutation of records. If you register a property, when a person sells a property, he is a seller. A person who buys a property is a buyer. A person who owns a property, whatever, who confirms that you are a property owner, it is the government who has to confirm a property owner. So confirmation of a property ownership is nothing but your khata. A record of ownership in the government is khata. There are multiple documents that confirms your ownership. One is your sale deed, another is your khata, another is a UC. You need to ensure that there is a registry of your transaction in the sub-register office, right? These three are very important documents to ensure that you are a legitimate property owner. Whenever seller sells a property and khata never gets updated. Let's say 100 owners are there and you have a land khata in the name of Mr. X, and Mr. X continue to be X for the lifetime. You buy a property, your name doesn't reflect in land khata. Whatever undivided share mentions in your sale deed, only in your sale deed, it doesn't get reflected in land khata. What BBMP or GBA does is they will create a flat khata in your name, and then you be happy paying property tax for the entire lifetime for your flat. What will happen to the land? It will continue to be in the name of the previous landowner or a promoter who purchased the land. You have purchased a property along with undivided share, but your name doesn't appear in land records. What will you do when the building need to be collapsed? What do you do when building need to be redeveloped? We have seen a lot of cases that is coming to us for advisory where these kind of problems has been seen. So that is why it's important to have a land khata and association, because in Maharashtra, what happens is the entire land parcel will be transferred to registered association of cooperative society of flat owners because they have a tenancy model. In Karnataka, Land Reforms Act is a ownership model. We cannot directly adopt the transfer of title to registered cooperative society because cooperative society cannot be formed here in Karnataka as per Karnataka High Court orders. So BBMP has to come up with a solution to ensure that flat owners' land rights are protected. So I have registered a case against the BBMP commissioner this year where I don't see my name in land khata of a property which I purchased 15-20 years before. Even today I can see my previous landowner name. They created a PID also. Forget about the manual entry of land khata. Now they created a PID, and BBMP commissioner says, I have made that PID as a non-transaction, meaning that PID become non-transactional. How long it will take to give bribe to get it transactional? So it is not about not making transactional. We want that land khata to be deleted. You delete after flat khata is being created. Why it is the necessity of a land khata? Or you keep land khata in the name of the association or in the name of the apartment itself. If you look at Inam's,
Or add all the apartment owners there.
all apartment owners, you make an entry either one way. At any cost, previous landowner's name has to be taken off. Very simple. It has to be apartment name. If you want to follow Inam Act, if you remember, there is a famous Supreme Court, case where the property, if it is a, temple property, you keep the property in the name of the god itself. There is a famous Supreme Court order. And there is one more order where Maharashtra says transfer it to association. In either ways, we don't care what government want to follow. We want land khata to be in the name of the apartment or apartment association or all flat owners in land khata. Park all flat owners in land khata. Whenever there
But
is a
ideally,
transaction, update it. Very
for
simple.
practical purposes, it should be in the name of a registered association. And
Ideally,
ideally,
or
and
else, see, everything is possible, Sunil, in the world of digital. Everything is possible. You have a table with the two fields, flat number and undivided share. Whenever there is any transaction, replace that name with undivided share in the land khata. Done. Yeah, table name is your land khata. Very simple. See, nowadays technology is very advanced and anything can be done. But what is required is a will of the government to get it done.
yeah,
For some
it's a very
reason,
important.
government is not doing it. But as a home buyer advisor, we are insisting everyone to register a case before Lokayukta. This is complete dereliction of the government, because High Court clearly stated in many cases saying that if undivided share is been mentioned in your sale deed, common area should be automatically transferred. This is a statement of the High Court. So when the High Court is saying if undivided share itself transfers your common area, where is that reflected in your orders? Where is reflected in the government record? They need to interpret the order and ensure that the orders of the High Court has been followed. Government of Karnataka is not following the High Court order, but if government is not following, what public are doing? We have made more than 5 to 10 cases registered in Lokayukta, and we have been insisting. We created a template for public to use and register a case to protection of their own land. But what they do is they will go and bribe somebody and then get fake katas so that they can transfer to some bakras. They become a bakra. They want to find some other bakra and transfer and get out. So this is exactly not taking the responsibility of public itself is creating a problem. And I
I'm
will give
also
one more
pursuing this
example.
case, sir. I'm
Yeah,
also
I will give one
pursuing
more
this case.
example. In Mantri Serenity apartment in Kanakpura Road, there is no land share or undivided share mentioned in sale deed itself. But people are getting khata. How? God only knows. And also, if you remember recently, BBMP or GB has introduced e-Khata system. For e-Khata, you should have a BESCOM meter in your name, right? And BESCOM meter will be linked to your e-Khata. But I heard there are people in Mantri Serenity are getting e-Khata without BESCOM meter. There is no BESCOM meter there in individual name in
But
Mantri
they have
Serenity.
done one more ridiculous thing in that e-Khata, I think, about your parking. They are going like retrospectively, they are charging for parking also, which is already part of your this one where you're already
It's already
paying
part of the undivided share. Yes,
you're already paying for that, and why should you pay separately? I mean, this
exactly.
is all.
I think that's where, Sunil, public has to take up the matter with iron hand. Okay. See, the earlier world of, not having information is gone. If you just search land rights protection in Karnataka, you will find hundreds of articles written by us itself. Okay. We have reached out to a lot of media people, right, and asked them to write about it with all the evidences that we have. And if people don't have their own intelligence, they can ask the artificial intelligence platform. Nowadays, all your artificial intelligence platform like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, or any platform, Perplexity, any platform you go, just to type with a simple prompt, what are the challenges of land right protection in Karnataka, you'll get to know. And it has got an inbuilt mechanism of RAG, retrieval augmented system, right? RAG
It
mechanism
is
is
all
there.
trained on our data, sir. It is
It's
all
all
trained
trained on
on
our
our.
data. And that is the reason why I said technology is so advanced that intelligence is there. Only thing is you should have the knowledge to perceive and take that intelligence and implement and protect yourself. We can wake up people who are sleeping, but you can't wake up people who are acting like sleeping. So
Yeah.
my request to all the home buyers who are watching your channel today, to understand it is not government problem, it is our own problem. Please accept it. The moment we accept it is our problem, we will find a solution to it. This is exactly what the concept we adopted in Karnataka Home Buyers Forum. Not making others responsible. We want our activists who are part of KHVF to be responsible and accountable, and they are registering cases before RERA, Consumer Court, or Lokayukta or High Courts. That is where you are seeing a lot of changes that is happening in the society that is coming up in the future.
But also, sir, consumer court, let me tell you, I have also filed one consumer case against builder. For passing order, they're taking
No,
almost
I think
more
there
than.
are limitations in any judiciary system, Sunil, right? Whether High Court, Civil Court, or Consumer Court, or RERA, there are limitations, but there are ways to make things work.
But what
Okay.
is the I mean, see, people go to consumer court. Why? Because they can get speedy justice in
No, I
maybe
agree.
1 year, 1.5. If it is going to take 5, 6 years in consumer court,
No, I think that's where
forget about.
the judiciary need to be speed bound and time bound. Orders should come. But unfortunately, we have some limitations with respect to judiciary is concerned. I think if drastic transformation need to happen in the judiciary, where the time bound order should come, and if some advocate is not appearing before the court, they should be penalized. And if the judges are not passing the orders on time, their salary also need to be cut. There is some drastic changes should come in judiciary that will
Uh,
make system work for us.
so just one more question, couple more questions I have before we move on to our next
Yeah,
segment.
yeah, please go ahead.
RERA. So there were a lot of hulagaloo about this. There's no proper regulatory act and all those things. Although we had the COPA for Karnataka, so center decided to bring in RERA. 2016, they passed the RERA Act and came into effect. Now there is one. We spoke about corruption. How much corruption is there? RERA, there is a specific clause that whatever builders collect money from buyers, they need to maintain in a separate third party account. Yeah. And whatever apartment spending has to be done only from that account.
Correct. That's correct.
But I don't know if builders are following this. They are not supposed to take that money into their personal account.
That's correct. Absolutely correct. So this is a very important regulation brought by RERA, where the money collection should happen through escrow account only, and auditing statement need to be submitted to RERA. There are a lot of regulations, but only thing is who has to make it implement, right? See, once again, Sunil, it will circle back to home buyers only. The reason I will tell you, if promoters are not doing their job, if you have invested your hard-earned money, what are you waiting for? This is a hard, straightforward question. I will not blame the system. System is created by us. If system is not working for us, it is we only are the one who should be fixing this problem. If imagine a farmer protest that happens in North Karnataka, within fraction of few weeks, problem is solved. How? Why? Why? What is the reason? Everybody knows.
They have come out in large numbers.
This is exactly what I wanted to convey. It is not anybody's problem. It's our own problem. The moment we don't come under the umbrella of one organization, we don't come under a concept of, Sangatan mein Shakti hai. If you want to go united, and divided within the community, people will take it for right. This is exactly what happens in an apartment. Whenever there is a corruption and whenever, anything, builder is supposed to do their job, the multiple groups will be created and one group will be fighting with another. And I remember one classic example of, I think in one of the apartment where one group of KOA guys did, flag hosting in one direction and march fast in one direction. And the cooperative society guys, followers are doing march fast and flag hosting in other direction. So this divide and rule has made us to suffer. We have been ruled by the Britishers for ages, centuries, and our mentality of being a slave is not gone. This is where I always ask and advise home buyers, you need to come out of your comfort zone. We are no more slaves. You don't need to wait for the government to take action. What are you waiting for? Government is by us. In a constitution in India, government is by us. We are the one who make people to become a government. When we only don't find ourselves comfortable to fight against this, who will do it? Nobody will do it. In the earlier era of Wadayar family, when they are running the state, Mysore state, they used to do one fantastic job. Because for variety of reason, I respect Wadayar family because of the work they have done. When they don't have money, even they have, let it out for building KRS dam. Tell me in this world, any one politician who spared his personal money for building a public infrastructure. At least I think I am not seen even a single person. So that is the society we are living in. So that's why I request home buyers only to come forward. There is no other alternative.
But having said that, I know home buyers have to, first of all, they have to come to RERA saying
They have to
there is
come
an
to RERA.
issue.
Nobody
And
will
but
give you. Even today, a mother want to give milk, baby has to cry, sir.
yeah, that's correct. But having gone to RERA, I go through the hearings, everything happens, they pass the order. How effective are the orders?
See, I will tell you, RERA has got multiple wings. Okay, one is a complaint. Once you get an order, there is something called execution. In any court, not only in RERA, even in consumer court, you have to file execution petitions. Once you get an order, you have to file an execution petition along with penalty. See, what people are missing out is when they file execution petition, I'll tell you why. I will tell you, a lot of home buyers don't know how to file execution petition. They think that once RERA gives an order, builder will come automatically and give money to you.
But they should give now, sir. What is the use of then
No, there is a
order?
procedure. There is a procedure. Ideally, they are supposed to. Okay, the way our system is built is not like that. Okay, ideally they are supposed to respect the RERA orders, but there is a provision if the builder doesn't respect the RERA order, you can penalize up to 5% of the project cost. How many people know about this? You can make a passed an order. They are not responded. Please give me justification or justice. This is not the way you should file a complaint. You should ask for 5% penalty or ask for sending him to jail for 3 years.
No, but once you file an execution petition, it will be forwarded to the district magistrate, and
No,
they
no,
will.
that is not the execution petition. Once RERA order is in power, there is something called RRC. A certificate will be issued, recovery certificate.
Yeah.
That will go to district commissioner, district collector or Tashildar to collect the money. When that collection of money don't happen, then you have an option to file execution petition where you can file under RERA and saying that RERA order was passed so and so, but I did not get my money within this period. Hence, I am filing this execution petition and ensure that the builder, if we don't respect, please pass an order to send him to jail or 5% penalty as per RERA. How many
Are these
people you find?
recoveries happening? I mean,
Sorry?
are these recoveries happening to, I mean, what
There are a lot of
percentage?
challenges. The people are not filing this execution petition. That's a problem. They are sitting on RRC only. Even to make RRC, Tashildar to recover, there are ways. Every Tashildar has got a timeline, right? You should go and appeal and then file a complaint against the Tashildar if he don't do his job in Lokaayukta, or take the matter to High Court. There are multiple ways. But the problem lies with our public only, Sunil. Government machinery exists, but how many users?
So that covers our first segment. So we'll move on to our second segment. It's called Spotlight. So we spoke about home buyers. Is it fair to say home buyers are complicit with the builders? Is it is it fair to say some home buyers are complicit? They're hand in glove with the builders or landowners. Absolutely. This one undervalue the. But in sale agreement, if it actually people follow correctly, if they register the sale agreement, they will be registering on the actual value, isn't it? Because I think it creates a lien on the land also, isn't it? But then you would be registering on the actual value of the flat, isn't it? Schedule A. Yeah. It's there in my kata, in my sale deed, it's there. Schedule A, land kata. Sale agreement is always for a limited period of time, isn't it? And then it gets lapsed. So a couple more questions on RERA. I would say, yeah, I want your honest opinion on this. Is RERA truly independent, or is it? Now we hear a lot about these stall projects, right? And RERA truly independent in the sense, or is it? Is there some political influence on RERA officers on not to? Yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah, I mean, I've also heard of cases where there is even delay in passing the order. There's so much delay in even pass. I mean, sometimes I have gone to the RERA offices many times, all swanky offices. Look at the infrastructure. Everybody works. What is the problem in them in passing an order in time on time? It's not like they're short of staff. There are plenty of people there working also. Even High Court, also these things are happening. Sometimes there is so much delay in the cases also. No, not just about talking about finishing the case. Even if it is a very, and even if your advocate is appearing on time, maybe opposite advocate. Yeah. Okay. One last question. These pre-launch schemes that builders offer, are they risky, or are they? Is this some scam, or is some genuinity there? This pre-launch, pre-EMI, sometimes they give. So what usually happens in this pre-EMI? Like bank will catch you. Very, very sad. I mean, getting possession is more. Thank you so much. So we come to our final segment called Futurecast. We'll take a sneak peek into the future and understand. We spoke a lot about transparency and accountability. So what do you want to see transparency in the real estate industry as a whole, as far as transactions, associations, wherever money is involved? And yeah, there are those kind of people also. I'm not saying no. No, I'm talking even about the mindset. They think of become president. They're saying, who are you to teach me? I know. Who are you to teach me? That's why learning Sanskrit is very important, sir. And I'm making sure my daughter studies Sanskrit because it develops the mind also. Okay. With respect to digitization, from property registration to say grievance redressal, or what opportunities do you see where of improvement? What all can be done? Maybe not. Yeah, correct. Well, for one final question, sir, before we wrap up. So what advice would you give to first-time home buyers in Karnataka, especially before you book an apartment? Because the land is not in their name. Well, thank you so much, Ranjay. I think we exceeded the time a little bit, but thank you so much for all your insights, and I hope after seeing this podcast, more and more people start acting. I think there's a lot of education material already available. I think you have your YouTube channels also. People have seen that also. I think it's high time that more and more people started acting and Thank you so much for your time. Well, that's it from episode 3 of Beyond the Blackboard. I hope you liked this episode, and I'm interested in bringing more such quality content to you. So if you like this episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and looking forward to my next podcast. See you. Good night.